Welcome to another episode of the For the Love of Cricket podcast with Jim and Akim. Today we'll be looking at the game played earlier between India and Bangladesh. India won pretty comfortably in the end. Bangladesh batted first and made 256 for 8. And India chased down that target pretty comfortably while losing only 3 wickets. What's your take on proceedings today?
It was a pretty routine win for India, for Team India. I believe that they put in a decent bowling effort. The main concern for India would be Hardik Pandya getting injured in the first over that he bowled today. He's a very important player for them in this World Cup. He brings a lot of balance. Bats at about number 6, and then he is oftentimes the third seamer in their bowling lineup. So he's a very important player for them, and they will be sweating on his fitness. Outside of that, pretty routine win. Rohit Sharma in the runs, Shubman Gill in the runs, and then the king of the chase, Virat Kohli, with yet another ODI century. Just one century now behind Sachin Tendulkar for the most centuries in ODI cricket. Another masterful knock from him today.
So as I said earlier, Bangladesh batted first. They were 90 without loss, and they collapsed, losing 6 wickets for like 40 runs or something like that. And then Mahmadullah and Mushrika, the two senior men, went on to repair the innings, giving them a total that they can bowl to, but with that Indian lineup, anything less than 6 and over would be easy pickings for them. Could you give me a breakdown of Bangladesh's innings?
Well, the opening pair got off to a very good start. Tanzid, Hassan, and Litandas, they both played very well. Both got half centuries. I believe that they played at a decent rate. They got through the power play, and they lost the first wicket with a score at 93. That was a decent platform for Bangladesh, I believe. With a platform like that, 15 overs at 90 runs, you would think that they would be looking at a score of probably 300 or so. But this is a Bangladesh team that is missing Shakib Al Hasan, who is one of their key players. He has gotten injured and he missed this game today, and it really showed in the middle order because he's somebody that would have come and he would have batted at probably number 4. So they would be disappointed in the batting performance having gotten off to that start. But that being said, it was very good bowling from India and very good out cricket. Ravindra Jadeja took a brilliant catch at backward point to remove Mushrika Rahim when Bangladesh were consolidating the two senior men, Rahim and Mahmadullah. And it looked as if they were looking towards 300, but a catch like that really shifts the tide of a game. And it was very good athleticism, very good execution, and it helped to haul the Bangladeshi innings back.
I've always made mention about the structuring of the Bangladesh batting lineup, and it seems to work for them. They stagger the senior batters throughout the order in a like a preemptive measure against collapses. Today, what's his name? Mushrika Rahim and Mahmadullah coming in at 7 and 8 respectively, repaired the innings and gave them a pretty decent total to bowl to. They were missing one of their key bowlers in Taskin and their major bowler in Shakib. So anything less than 300 would have always been a difficult defense. What's your take on how India started their bowling effort and then how they went on to claw Bangladesh?
The Indian bowling efforts, I don't think they would be happy with how they started. Jasprit Bumrah bowled 10 overs for 41. It wasn't a start that was at his usual standard, and I believe Siraj hasn't really been at his best in this World Cup thus far. So Bangladesh got off to a fairly good start in the power play. Hardik Pandya was first change. He started with 2 boundaries and then he got injured. So it was a start that was a bit lukewarm from India, I would say. Not the best of starts with the ball, but they really clawed it back in the middle overs. Thacker was decent. I think he was slightly expensive, but the spinners in Kuldeep and Jadeja, they really clawed the effort back. Jadeja was good again. He's been good all tournament, and he's somebody that I said will be one of the major players for India if they're to win this tournament. He is very consistent, and he's a three-dimensional cricketer. He hasn't really had much of an opportunity to prove it with the bat thus far in this tournament, but with the ball and in the field, he has been brilliant, and he really proved it again today.
And a day where the Indian bowlers went at less than 5. The lack of respect for Shadow Tucker by opposing batsmen, as well as he's really medium pace, and he's easily their worst bowler in the power play. I saw a stat earlier where he goes at about 8.5, 9 in power plays. Is by far the worst. I'm sure today they would have been hoping that he wouldn't have to bowl in the power play. And we saw that when his first over went for about 15.
Yeah.
Tanzid was just running down the wicket as if he was bowling afterwards. So I'm sure if Pandya misses the next game, India would have to make not just one change, but 2.
Yeah.
They would have to let Tucker go, bring in Shami, and then replace
replace Pandya with
probably Sky.
Yeah, Surya yeah.
Or they bring back Ishan Kishan.
I would like to see Yadav. So Yadav is the person that I would have gone for. But seeing how the middle order has performed, it's probably going to be difficult to bring him in and bat him so low at number 6. So probably Ishan Kishan.
Can we move on to the Indian innings? Brilliant start by Sharma and Gill. Failed to carry on, but Kohli was the mastermind, bringing up a 48 one-day 100, and his first in chases in ODI World Cups after playing 3 previously.
Yeah. That is a bit of a surprising stat that it's his first 100 in a chase in 50 over World Cups. He's gotten so many hundreds chasing that you almost take it for granted. That being said, I think Rohit Sharma and Shubman Gill, they were very good. They're probably the best opening pair. They're probably the best pair of openers in this tournament. And coming into the World Cup, they were in fairly good form. Shubman Gill, he had his boat with dengue, but he has been very good in 2023. And it's important for Team India that he's gotten into the tournament and he's gotten some momentum. He started and he's playing well. And he's getting key runs for them. He hasn't gotten the big century yet, but he is showing good form. Virat Kohli, what can you say? Phenomenal player. He will go down probably as the best batsman to play 50 over cricket. Very likely that he will. And he's a very important part of this Indian unit. He was showing form in this tournament thus far, and he's kept it off with 100 here. India seems to have all their pieces in place, and everybody is ticking over. And it's just the injury of Hardik Pandya that will be a major concern for them because, as we've said, he brings a lot of balance to this team. The other seam bowling all-rounder in the squad, Shardul Thakur, I don't think he brings as much balance because he's not as strong a batter as Pandya, and his bowling, because of the pace at which he bowls, he probably isn't as much of a threat. So that is the major area for concern for Team India right now.
Bangladesh, as I said earlier, they are missing 2 key bowlers. what's your take on their attempt to defend this total?
You always knew that they were going to struggle without Shakib bowling in the middle overs for them. Taskin is also a key loss. You believe that if they were to have a real go at India today, Mustafizur would have had to have taken wickets in the power play, which he didn't. Outside of that, Mehdi Hassan Miraz, he's been steady in the tournament thus far. He picked up 2 wickets for 47 today. It was a decent spell, but it was never going to be a match-winning effort. When you look at the Indian batting lineup, you really have to get early wickets against them to set them back. It's a lineup with a lot of batters in form, but you know that they really get to panic stations if you dislodge Rohit Sharma and you dislodge Virat Kohli. Those, I think, are the 2 key wickets. So unless Bangladesh had done that earlier today, you really didn't see them causing much of a threat in this game.
Do you think the fact that India has what is essentially a top-tier test opener batting at number 5, if there is any trouble having KL Rahul, as we saw in the first game, a proper test match batsman, a proper test match opener at 5, is like having insurance for the top order?
I think it is. It's very interesting because when you look at the tournament and you look at another team that has done something similar, New Zealand has Latham at 5, who is also a proper test match opener, probably one of the best openers going around in test cricket right now. So it is an interesting tactic, but KL Rahul is a proper player. He's a fine player. I'm sure that if you ask him, he would probably want to bat higher in this batting order, but it's just how the cookie crumbles with this very strong squad. So I believe that the batting is stacked. It's a very good batting lineup. Jadeja really hasn't gotten an opportunity to perform with the bat in the tournament, and that's really just testament to how well the top order has done thus far. So it's a very good batting unit.
So Bangladesh with another loss. This is what, their 3rd loss?
Yeah.
India unbeaten, New Zealand unbeaten. Those 2 teams will meet on the weekend. So obviously 2 of them can't win.
Somebody has to lose unless there's rain.
Who do you think wins that game between the 2 unbeaten teams, India and New Zealand?
I think India will take it unless Williamson comes back into the New Zealand 11. If Williamson doesn't come back, then I believe that India has the slight edge. It's interesting to see how India will go without Pandya, especially in the bowling effort. I'm interested in seeing how the balance will go, but in terms of the caliber of batters that they have, and then when you put it probably side by side with the New Zealand batting and you look at it man for man, you would have to back the Indian batters based on the form that they're in and just the caliber of players that they are.
I would back. I think New Zealand has a better bowling attack at the moment.
I agree.
All the seamers are unsung. Santner is doing well. So I think Santner and Jadeja cancels each other. Bumrah would be matched with Trent Bolt.
Yeah.
Then Suraj is the weak of the opening bowlers at the moment. And I think Matt Henry has
that's the number 2 ODI bowler in the world. He's the weaker bowler at the moment than Matt Henry.
Well, the numbers in the World Cup so far is saying that. There are 4 games in.
Yeah.
So yeah, number 2. I think Matt Henry has him covered. What do you say?
I agree. Based on current form, I would say Matt Henry has him covered. When you look at the Indian bowling, you think that the 2 weak links in the bowling are probably Thakur, who played today, and Siraj when he's not unsung. I think those are probably two of the weaker bowlers in their bowling lineup. Pandya is the all-rounder, but outside of him getting injured in this game, I feel like he has held his own in the tournament thus far. So if I were to play against Team India, those are the two bowlers that I would be really looking at to take on and challenge.
How do you go against Kuldeep?
Kuldeep
stacks against Ravindra.
Yeah, Kuldeep is the obvious choice there.
How would you go against Kuldeep? What do you think New Zealanders will be doing against Kuldeep?
It's interesting. I think that he is somebody that will hold the key in this game. I think when we do the preview for that game, he's somebody that we need to pay a lot of attention to. When you look at the New Zealand middle order, you have Daryl Mitchell in there, you have Ravindra in there, Tom Latham is there as well. Chapman, Mitch Santner towards the lower end. Somebody like Kuldeep could do very well in this game. There are a number of left-handers there, and he's bowling left arm wrist spin. So he's taking the ball away from them. He also bowls a fairly good googly. So his matchup could be the decider in this game.
All right. We look forward to it. Thank you very much for watching, guys. That's the end of today's episode.
All right. Thanks for watching, guys.